Hey there, myself Krish Chaitrukan, and very warm welcome to all. And today we discuss a little bit about system design topic, and this particular topic dedicated toward the low level design, and we focus on low level design. So now all the particular next video is going on low level design, and we discuss a little bit more about low level design, and because of that it's the important part, and we should to focus on how more depth about low level design. And after high level design is a lots of fundamental concept we discussed it at past videos, but now today we focus on their little bit a strong silly concept, you can say, of their particular low level design. So if I explain you, like if I tell you like what is the difference between the high level and low level design, again if I want to repeat this, low level design is like basic components, and when moving depth of this particular system design, this is a low level design. Okay, so where we going depth of this particular one. So okay, so let's start. So today's topic is like pseudocode, and this is too much confusing topics when we actually focus on there. Actually this particular topic is confusing because of that people don't understand what the basic thing is and the pseudocode and why we need this particular one. And there are lots of reason behind the scene, but we focus on that pseudocode first. So let's come to understand. So if I talk about pseudocode is all about, let's suppose you want to make some plan. Okay, so the best way to explain about your plan, you write a short note. Okay, so now in the engineering field, in their engineers and when actually coders are want to make algorithm when to solve the problem in the coding, so they use short form of methods to just so solve the problems. So all the engineers using, all the coders using, all the developers using that particular process to just solve the problem, so explain the problem and describe the problem. So initially we need to describe the problem first, and then after we need to find out the loopholes, and then after we tackle this particular one according to it. So in C, object token pseudocode is all about like definition of algorithm. It's define the algorithm. So it's all about define the algorithm in such way like 100 lines of the code. Okay, so now suppose there will be lots of problem. Now if you want to just write out the few bunch of the codes for on something, print numbers 1 to 10, and then you can use the pseudocode to explain the logic first. How can you explain the logic first? So that's the basic important part we should to consider when we moving toward the, before moving toward the writing a code at manually. So we discuss algorithm first, what kind of algorithm we use here, what the process that we can follow to just uh, like solve this particular problem. So that's the important part. So again, I'm not going to give you like entire context, so let's come to there understand pseudocode with three uh, uh, magic word: step, logic, and order. So we keep this particular all entire information of the our planning, what we make plan for solving a particular algorithm. Okay, in steps, and we define the logic, and in order form. So in order by order we define the all the logic. So let's suppose there is your problem where you need to write 100 lines of the code, but you need to define to all the developers or the teammates to such like, look, this is the how can we solve this particular problem in just a four bunch of the lines. Okay, so that's the four line you can describe this particular one. So pseudocode is important because of this particular one define entire context behind the pseudocode. The first one, like the pseudocode is like focus on logic and easy to read and planning. So pseudocode is just different from the flowchart and other methods of the solving algorithms. Is like it's focused only on logic. So you use the natural language to do this particular one, write this particular pseudocode, and easy to read, and it's help us to make a planning. Okay, so it's basically describe the entire planning structure, what your plan is. Okay, so I will give you the best example for it, and this hopefully that's clear for you if you do so. So the core rules of this writing a pseudocode, if you want to just write the pseudocode, the core rule is use capital keywords, if, else, while, for, print. So this is a conditional statement, and this is a loop, and this is a print statement. You need to write all the syntax. You not need to write entire syntax in depth, but few syntax like print and something, while, loop, all this in the capital keyword. And second is end statement. In that end statement we just how can we end this particular algorithm pseudocode. The best way is like you use and if you want to end this particular conditional statement, use and if, and while, and for when you actually want to just end the particular loop, so you can use this particular stuff. So that's particular one that we're talking about. And I think like the best example, let's suppose if you want to just write 100 lines of the, okay, just now suppose you want to write a code for print 1 to 10 digit, okay, 1 to 10 digit, a 10 integer, okay, so 1 to 10 integer. Then how can you make how can you explain this particular approach? How, this is the, we need to just discuss about algorithm first. Okay, so what kind of algorithm that we should to know, we should to discuss. First we need to write a pseudocode. So define this, how can we solve this particular problem, how can we write a code. So we need to write pseudocode to explain this particular one, someone want to understand. Okay, so let's suppose if we use start. So here our code is start. We use for loop for I is equal to 0 and to 10. We need to we continue our loop 1 to 10 and print I, and end for, we end this particular for loop, and at the end we add this particular, this is an end loop, end of this particular entire pseudocode. So this is a just short form definition of the entire algorithm. We need to write 5 or 6 lines of the code, but instead of writing 5 6 line code, we need to describe the first logic, and then after we move forward again. So pseudocode is helpful for us for defining the logic, what kind of logic we try to use in that part of algorithm in the code to solve the certain problem, to some kinds of the problem. So that's the basic thing we should to focus on then first, and then after move forward. So that the basic need of the pseudocode is like when you want to just solve a large and complex problem, you should to focus on the, instead of step by step, to just know that which what kind of approach we should to know. And sometime, okay, you trying vibe coding, that's well, okay, but you know to some system design fundamental concept. Okay, so vibe coding important, okay, but in vibe coding you have a no control over the entire code basis. So when, if something happen, if the bug happen in the code, you are not able to fix it. So you never deserve the vibe coding, for only for vibe coding you not make the $1 billion app. And this is not possible for non-technical founder. Actually it's possible for technical, non-technical founder, but they need some kinds of developer also for do particular stuff. So that's the basic thing. So vibe coding is important, is a good, okay, so for writing a particular mapping algorithm, but you need to understand the code, okay, you need to understand the logic first. So that's the necessary part, how your code work. For taking command over this, you need to discuss the first particular thing. So that's fine. That's all about pseudocode that we're talking about, step, logic, and order. And this is the important part, because of that when we actually focus on that pseudocode is work like something, it is all about something, 100 lines of code. If you want to just solve any problem, you need to write, you want to explain some approach, you want to write a logic. So the way to write a logic, that's a pseudocode. Okay, so that's all about the pseudocode, and that's important concept, the LLD. And we move forward the low level device in low level design is more depth, and I think like I covered the lots of concept there. So we continue for ourselves.